now that we have quantified the uncertainty, it's time to do the actual reliability analysis, calculate our probability of failure. And this is what Timo showed us before, so let's see where we are now. Well, we have now determined our input variables, and we come here to the limit state. We input the input variables into the limit state, and we are after here to calculate what is the probability here of having a value less than 0. So how do we do this? And the most simple one, the simplest method I would say is the Monte Carlo simulation. So let's try to give you a conceptual idea of how this works. So we have here another example, but essentially we have different properties in different layers here, but all of them feed into the stability or the calculation of the factor of safety here for this slope stability problem. What you want to do here is to draw random samples from all the probability distributions that you have assigned and quantified, and then see, okay, in how many of these instances you do this 10,000, 100,000, 1 million times, depending on the accuracy you're after. And then you check, okay, how many of these simulations actually give you a factor of safety less than 1. You count all of those and divide it by the number of samples that you drew. And this gives you then the probability of failing. Conceptually quite simple. The downside with the Monte Carlo simulation is that you have a very computationally expensive model here to calculate the factor of safety. Then this might take a while. So the guideline here also gives you some options and suggestions on, okay, out of those many different reliability methods that are out there, which should you use and when? So some things to consider here is, okay, the model complexity, which can influence then the simulation time. You don't want to run a very computationally expensive model 1 million times. One other thing to consider is how well behaved is the limit state function. And you see here, shows up some different options depending on which situation you are in. Monte Carlo simulation, first order reliability method, surrogate models, if you have computationally expensive models, some other also sampling based methods that are a little bit similar to Monte Carlo simulation, but doesn't require that many samples. But you see, there in the guidelines there are some discussion on when to choose which method. We also want to just highlight here that you don't necessarily need fancy software to do this. There are also open source tools. This is one from Deltares. This is a spreadsheet option for, I think it's for first order reliability method. And there are also some useful links here that you can consider and test yourself. All right.